Hello viewers, welcome. Today we are going to discuss six major themes in Hamlet, a famous play by William Shakespeare, the tragical history of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. So, Hamlet is the simple story of a man avenging his father's death. Now, there are many themes in Hamlet. We will discuss six major themes. First one is revenge. Although not considered a good act in Christianity and even in other faith and religion, revenge is theme that runs throughout the play. This is a very dominant theme in this play, Hamlet. And this kind of revenge play was very popular in Elizabethan England. In that century, it was written in the Elizabethan age. This play was written. So, what is the structure of a revenge play? In revenge play, there is exposition, usually by a ghost or by victims in their final moments. In this case, a ghost of Hamlet's father tells him that he has been murdered by his own brother. So it is a kind of opening. Then next is anticipation. An elaborate plan for carrying out the revenge is prepared. So here a full plan is prepared by protagonist to take revenge. In this case, Hamlet prepares a play within a play, murder of Gonzago, to take revenge from his uncle, and to know the real situation of and verification of that veracity of that ghost. Now, third is confrontation, where the Avenger and the villain come face to face. Here, Hamlet's come face to face with that Claudius, where he is praying. Then delay. Delay is the Avengers keeps postponing taking actions due to moral or personal reasons. So delay is a very important part of the revenge tragedy. Here, Hamlet's do a lot of delay in taking revenge. He is suffering from the problem called procrastination. Is a noble inaction. His inability to act. He is not able to act at this very moment, and he is a very thoughtful person. So he everything sets him to thinking. Now, fulfillment. Eventually, both the Avenger and the villain are destroyed, along with the innocent bystanders. So, actually, here, that Avenger is able to fulfill his dreams, able to fulfill taking revenge. But at the process of this taking revenge, many people who are innocent are destroyed, and even the Avenger is also killed. There are two young men bent on avenging their father's death in this play. So there are two young men, Hamlet and Leotis, who are keen to take revenge from their villain. Hamlet and Leotis are both on the same mission of taking revenge. In fact, the appearance of the ghost in the first act lay a heavy responsibility on Hamlet to take revenge of his unjust murder. And however, as a philosophical mind, Hamlet must establish the responsibility of a crime on Claudius first, and only then take the decision to seek justice. So Hamlet first want to test the veracity of that ghost, then only he can proceed to take revenge from his uncle. Due to Hamlet's conscious mind, the revenge is delayed. On the other hand, Leotis, who is son of Polonius, also seeks revenge from Hamlet for his father's murder and is willing to kill Hamlet even in holy place church. So this Leotis is a totally foil character to Hamlet. Hamlet is very thoughtful and thinking person, and in the other hand, Leotis is a very rash and he is a impulsive person who is ready to take on Hamlet, murder of his father Polonius at any place. He is ready to take revenge in the holy place, even church also. And there is one more person, that is a prince of Norway, Fortinbras, who is also ready to take revenge from Denmark. He is ready to take revenge from total Denmark because that prince Denmark's father, senior Hamlet, has killed Fortinbras' father in a duel in a war. So he want to take revenge for that. So there are total three Avengers in this play. These two thematic stands of revenge runs parallel until the duel and their deaths. So this theme is very important, and here this revenge theme goes hand in hand, and at last there is a duel fencing match, and in that death of Avenger is also, and the that villain is also killed at the last. And I have made a separate video for this revenge theme. You can watch and you can see it in description box. Now the theme of corruption. So corruption is a major concern in this play. The text is saturated and filled with images of corruption in several forms: decay, death, poison. From the very first moments, the play, the images start and set the atmosphere of the corruption which is going to grow as a Shakespeare explored this theme. So Shakespeare has put this theme of corruption in this play Hamlet very thoughtfully. The tone is set when Marcellus says something is rotten in the state of Denmark after seeing the ghost of Hamlet's father. So when the guard Marcellus see the ghost of Hamlet's father, he declares that there something is fishy in this Denmark. Then after then what Shakespeare is doing here and is using the image of a structure of corruption is addressing the broadly held view that a nation health is connected to legitimacy of king. So here Shakespeare want to tell that a nation can fulfill and a nation can prosper only if the king is legitimate, because here the king is not legitimate. Claudius has become king by murdering his own brother. Here we have the ghost of a murdered king and his murderer, a decidedly illegitimate king, Claudius is illegitimate king, is sitting on the throne. All through the play, Hamlet is preoccupied with rot and corruption. So there is lot of rottenness and corruption in the play, both of the body and the soul, reflecting the way in which society is destroyed by the corruption of its inner institution, in the case court, which is government. So the whole Denmark country is corrupt here. The court of Claudius is corrupt, Polonius is corrupt, almost means many persons are corrupt in this whole Denmark country. Now decay and rot and mold are always in Hamlet's mind, and his language is full of those images. An unweeded garden that grows to seed, things rack and gross possesses it. So Hamlet says that this whole Denmark has become an unweeded garden, and countless images of death and diseases are here in the play. Hamlet hides Polonius' body in the palace, in the place where it will decay rapidly and stink out the castle. Now it is an image of corruption in secret places that is going to contaminate the whole country. So we can say that this corruption theme is very important in Hamlet. Now theme of religion. Religion, although not a dominant theme, religion still has its significant impact on the role and act of Hamlet and other characters. So here religion is not very important, but it is still a theme in this play, and on the its effect on its characters. So besides some religious markers, there are some dominant religious opinions and thoughts. Hamlet's to be or not to be is interpreted on the line of his religious thinking about suicide. So here when Hamlet said to be or not to be, the religious thinking comes. He also does not kill. So, is interpreted on the line of religious thinking about suicide. Here, Hamlet says that he is not able to decide whether he want to stay in this world or he want to commit suicide, because according to Christianity, suicide is a sin. So he also does not kill Claudius during prayers because he would go to heaven, and he does not want to grant him this opportunity. So the same, the consideration of religions comes here, and when Hamlet is getting opportunity to kill Claudius while he is praying, so he declines that opportunity. The last comment by Horatio also. So here he says that he don't want to kill that Claudius at the time, because if I will kill him at this time, he will directly go to heaven, and at the same time my father's spirit is just wandering, and he has gone to hell. So I can't give him this Claudius the opportunity to go to heaven. The last comment by Horatio also shows the religious expressions in the play, which is also a form of prayer. When he says, "Flights of angel sings thee to the thigh test rest." So here in the last scene, when Hamlet is dying in arms of Horatio, Horatio tells that good angels are awaiting you, and so this is a kind of prayer, and this also marks that the theme of religion is dominant in this Hamlet. It meant that religion is still a strong point in Hamlet even at the end. So from the opening to the end, religion is a very important theme. One of the most important things of all in the play is Christian idea of making a sacrifice to achieve healing. Hamlet is Christ-like in the handling of the crisis. The court is rotten with corruption, and people in it are almost all involved in plotting and scheming against each other. So whole the rottenness is there in that country. Hamlet's way of dealing with it is to wait and watch as all wrongdoers fall into own trap and hauled by their own petards. And he puts it. So Hamlet tells that everybody who is doing wrong will be punished at last. All he has to do is be ready like Christ. The readiness is all he says, and then all around him, the corruption collapses in the on itself, and court is purified. So at the last, everything is get purified and everything gets set. Like Christ, though he has to sacrifice to achieve that, he is living a scene of renewal and hope. So but like Christ was sacrificed, Hamlet is also sacrificed, and he is killed in that process of taking revenge. Now political intrigues is a theme in this play. Hamlet is also a political drama. It is a because it starts with a political intrigues in which old Hamlet has lost his life, and the young Hamlet is after his uncle Claudius. So here is a theme of revenge and political intrigues. His mother has married his uncle, while the rest of the place is divided into this big intrigue. The intrigue leads to widespread conspiracies and killings. Hamlet wants to avenge his father's death as soon as he gets the right opportunity, so that he can expose King Claudius' true nature to his subjects. Now, the King Claudius, determined to safeguard and to protect his position in the face of that threat, Hamlet presents. So plot in several ways to kill Hamlet. So Hamlet is being chased by Claudius, who is plotting against him in many ways. Polonius plot against Hamlet to get favors from King Claudius, and on the other hand, Polonius, who is a chief counselor to Claudius, is plotting against Hamlet. Um, Characters including Hamlet's mother, Gertrude, spy on each other. So they both spy on each other, and they have that sense of otherness in them. This is all to do with the power and the quest to achieve and hold it. So this quest of power is dominant in this play. The whole play is based on the quest for power. The theme of appearance and reality. So what it appears and what really is the major theme. This is major theme in every one of the Shakespearean play. The text of Hamlet is flooded with references to the gap that exists between how things seem to be and how they really are. So there is a great difference between what things seems and there is a what actuality is. Very little is this play is really as it seems. That is bound to be so in a play in which there are so many murderous plot and schemes by those who on the surface strive to appear innocent, like Claudius. Claudius on the surface looks very innocent, and who behind his charismatic smile is a damned villain. So his smile is charismatic, but he is a damned villain. He is Hamlet's portrayed a smiling villain. So according to Hamlet, he said a smiling villain, a smiling villain. Although Ophelia loves Hamlet, she pretends to reject his love. So Hamlet is loved by Ophelia, and Hamlet also loves Ophelia so much, but the both of them are pretending. Hamlet pretends to be mad so that he can discover the ghost claim that Claudius killed him. So Hamlet is also pretending to be mad, and he is also appearing with something he is not. All the characters, in one way or another, are hiding their true identities and intentions. What makes this theme particularly interesting and different in this play is that as the play develops, the gap between appearance and reality narrows by the characters becoming more like the mask and they are using than any reality that maybe lie behind that, so that the identities they have assumed eventually becomes their realities. So the persons who are taking their mask, they actually become the person like that. So their mask become their reality. Now, theme of women. For much of the play, Hamlet is a state of agitation. Hamlet is in great anger throughout the play. It is when he is talking to either of the two female characters, that is Ophelia and Gertrude. One is Ophelia is his lover, and Gertrude is his mother. That he is most agitated, so much so that he is driven to violence against them. So Hamlet becomes violent against Ophelia and his mother. He cares about both but does not trust either. He feels his mother, Gertrude, has let him down by her hasty marriage to Claudius. He calls it incest. He says that my mother has married his own brother-in-law. So brother-in-law. So he calls it incest. To him, it means that she didn't really love his father. In case of Ophelia, he is suspicious that she is a part of place palace plot against him. So here, although it is not true, but Hamlet thinks that Ophelia is a part of that plotting which is going on against him, and because he suspect that Ophelia was talking to when Ophelia was talking to him, somebody like Polonius and Claudius is listening to their talks. Both women die in the play. Ophelia is driven mad by treatment she receives from three men, Claudius, Polonius, and Hamlet, and takes her own life. Gertrude's death is more complex because it raises the question how far is she responsible for the corruption that Hamlet has to deal with. So here Gertrude position is means something suspicious. Hamlet is not able to know exact what is the position and the responsibility of Gertrude in case of that corruption and murder of his father. That is in the mysterious mystery. Now, more morality, the mystery of death. So the morality or the mystery of that is a very important theme in this play Hamlet. Here what happens, so here mystery of death. In aftermath of his father's murder, Hamlet is obsessed with the idea of death, and over the course of the play he considers death from the great many perspective. He ponders both the spiritual aftermath of death embodied in the ghost and the physical remains of the dead, such as Yorick's skull and decaying corpses in the cemetery. So there are many images of death. Yorick skull is there, ghost is there, and remains of dead bodies and decaying corpse in the cemetery. Throughout, the idea of death is closely tied to the themes of spirituality and truth and uncertainty, in that death may bring the answers to Hamlet's deepest questions, ending one and for all the problems of trying to determine truth in an ambiguous world. So, Hamlet is trying to find out the mystery of death, and according to him, death is a kind of equalizer. It equals everybody in the graveyard, both kings and that person who is poor, they are equal. So, in the face of death, everybody is equal. So this is evident from the graveyard scene. And since death is both the cause and the consequences of revenge, it is intimately tied to the theme of revenge and justice. Claudius' murder of King Hamlet initiate Hamlet's quest for revenge, and Claudius' death in the end of that quest. So here the whole play start with the taking revenge and with the death of that king, and it closes with the death of Claudius. The question of his own death troubles Hamlet as well. He is brooding in the prospects of that suicide, to be or not to be, and he is repeatedly contemplates whether or not suicide is a morally legitimate action in an unbearably painful world. So he want to get away from this unbearably painful world through suicide, but according to Christian belief, suicide is a sin, so he is not able to do so. Hamlet's grief and misery is such that he frequently longs for death to end his suffering, but he fears that if he commits suicide, he will be consigned to eternal suffering in hell because of the Christian religion's prohibition of suicide. In his famous soliloquy, "To Be or Not to Be" soliloquy, that is in Act 3, Scene 1, Hamlet philosophically concludes that no one would choose to endure the pain of life if he or she were not afraid or of will not come after death, and that is his fear which cause complex moral consideration to interfere with the capacity for action. So everybody is afraid of the feeling that what will come after death, what will happen to them after death. So this is the fear which prevent them from suicide, and so this is a moral consideration which interfere him, and he doesn't want to take his life. So this was the discussion on theme, and hope this video will be helpful to you, and if so, like my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for patiently hearing me.